materials for CMA, CIA, and CPA examination. Now welcome Mr. Vinod Chandra, the CEO of MyLogic Business Management School. Mr. Vinod Chandra is a chartered accountant and certified holder of Specialized Executive Finance Program from IIM Lucknow. He started his professional career with Hindustan Aeronautics Limited and played a pivotal role in pricing of many of the helicopter projects and for finalization of major country of France for a tenure of 3 years. In addition, Mr. Vinod also handled the finance control role of India operations of CenturyLink Technologies, USA. Vinod also is an academician who has helped thousands of students to become professionals. He is the founder director of MyLogic, a leading professional training institute globally. I also present Mr. Chaitanya, who is the director of academic and business strategy at MyLogic Business Management School. Once again, I welcome each one of you participating in the seminar, all invited guests, lecturers, and professors from various educational institutes and students to the seminar. I request Mr. Vinod to take the session forward and provide guidance to the attendees in transforming and reaching newer heights in their careers. Over to you, sir.
Good evening, everyone. Thanks, Brian, again for accepting our invitation and being part of it. We are honored to have you here, and I'm sure the students will be very much, and the participants will be very much benefited from the sessions. And everyone, there are a lot of professors, students from different parts of India, corporate professionals being part of it. So I welcome all of you once again to this session. And at the end of 45 minutes, our objective is to ensure that we pass on some insights about the wonderful program, Certified Internal Auditor, which will give you an insight into getting into the next level of your professional career. I request all of you can be mute, except the speakers. The cam is not required. So with that, I request Brian to start the session. Brian will be giving an overview about importance of CAA and how CAA can help building your career. Over to you, Brian. Thank you for being here.
Well, thank you, Vinod. It's great to be here. I appreciate everybody giving up your evening. It's my morning, but your evening, and so we're all here for the same reason. I know that the audience that we have here may range from university students, as Vinod said, to professors, to people that are already experienced internal auditors. So we've got a variety always in events like this, and that's absolutely wonderful, because at the end of the day, that's really what this is all about, is this kind of growth and this progression and kind of this broad spectrum of people that we have that are all part of the profession that is called internal auditing. And so you're earlier in your career, absolutely wonderful. This is a great time to be thinking about certification, to understand what it's going to do for you and how you can go about doing that. If you're later in your career, it's never too late. This is something that I always try to emphasize with people, is that when you get a professional certification, this isn't specifically about CIA, it's any professional certification, but it benefits you from the time that you receive that certification until the end of your career. And so if you're 22 years old, you have a long time of your career in front of you. But if you're 52 years old, you still have 10, 15, 20 years of work left. And so if anybody ever tells you that you have the opportunity to make an investment for a year that's going to provide benefit for 20 years, of course you do that. That's a wonderful investment. It's a wonderful period of time that you're going to get the benefit of that investment that you made in studying for certification. And so no matter where you are in your career, this is something that is relevant to you. And so I want to spend a little bit of time here at the beginning talking about what it is that CIA is and why it is that it's so beneficial to somebody in their career. And I'll start with this. Certified Internal Auditor is the largest, the leading, the best, the biggest, any positive adjective you want to use about a professional certification in the field of internal audit. We're talking about international certifications and internal audit, the discussion, the conversation begins and ends with certified internal auditor. And this is actually very good, because what this means is when you become a certified internal auditor, passport to the profession and the world. Now, I'll take a step back and compare this situation with certifications to management accounting. In the field of management accounting, there's US CMA, there's SEMA, there's the Indian Management Accounting Certification. Other countries have management accounting certifications. And so if you're looking for a management accounting certification, there is a question that you have to answer to make certain that you're getting the right one for you. In the field of financial accounting or auditing, well, there's ACCA, there's CPA, there's all the chartered accountants that all the different countries have. And again, it's a question of making certain that you get that financial accounting that auditor for you. However, in the field of internal audit, if you are an internal auditor, you want to get into the field of internal auditing, you think you might want to get into the field of internal auditing, then you need to become a certified internal auditor. There isn't really an option that's worth pursuing. Now, as I understand in India, a lot of CAs become internal auditors. And so maybe there's some of you here who are already chartered accountants and you're considering internal auditing. Even if there's another certification that kind of becomes what internal auditors have in a city, a country, certified internal auditor is about being an internal auditor. And so if you are an internal auditor, as I said, or if you want to become an internal auditor, if you're a student and you think this is a field that you want to go into, then this is absolutely the certification that you should pursue. If you don't want to go into internal audit, then CIA should not be your first certification. I think internal audit makes an excellent second certification for people that are in management accounting or financial accounting, because everything these days comes back to controls in some way or other. Okay? Every country has its laws about corruption and its laws about financial reporting. And so if you're a management accountant and you're able to say that I understand internal auditing, you're better than every other management accountant who can't say that. And the same in terms of a financial accountant or a consultant. But CIA is going to be that passport to your career. If we go back 20 years, when I started teaching CIA, the profession has gone through a lot of changes in those 20 years and has become a lot more acknowledged and accepted as its own profession and its own skill base. It's not always been that case, but this is what's happening in the era of specialization and what companies are needing to do to meet requirements, to meet legal requirements in a country, to meet stock exchange requirements. There's often a need to have an internal audit function in order for the company to be able to do what it is that it's trying to do. And so there's a lot of ways to get into internal audit. And one of them is where somebody has a career and they move from management accounting, finance, financial accounting into internal audit. But more and more internal audit is becoming a specific career choice that students make. And this is something, whenever I talk to university students, I always tell them there's more to the accounting profession than the Big Four and being an auditor. And I'm sure this is the case in every country around the world. There's kind of this mindset that if you're an accounting student, your goal is to work with the Big Four, whether it's Deloitte or Price, it doesn't matter, but that's kind of the mindset that people have. And I like to tell students, there's a lot of career opportunities that are out there that are not Big Four and audit related. And one of those is internal audit. Internal audit is its own career, it's its own skill set, it's its own knowledge base. And it provides a very different professional career than that if you go into public accounting. If you go into public accounting, you're going to have a lot of different clients that you know a little bit about. In internal audit, you kind of have one client, the company you work for, and you're going to know a lot about it. You're going to have an in-depth knowledge of all parts of the business. May not happen your first month on the job, but as your career progresses in internal audit, you're going to be part of every department, every function, every process within the organization. You're going to learn about it and you're going to become familiar with it because it's your job to add value to the organization by improving all of these different processes and functions that the organization has. And one of the ways I talk about it is that because an internal audit function operates throughout all of a business, it's the internal auditors that are in the best position to be able to say, hey, we have this office over here or this department over here that's done something very, very well. They created a new way to do something. They have a new system, a new process. And it's beneficial if the entire company were to adopt this practice. And it's the internal auditors that are adding value to the organization by making certain that those good ideas and those good practices move throughout the organization and don't just get stuck where it is that they're developed. And so by being an internal auditor, it's a skill set that is different and it requires development. And one of the ways you get that is through the certification process. If you want to become an internal auditor, going into an interview and saying, I've already passed part 1, makes you different than any other candidate they're getting who hasn't started the process of becoming a CIA. And in fact, even if you go in and you say, I tried part 1 and I failed it the first time, makes you a better candidate than somebody who has not even started the process of studying for CIA. And so when you're talking about a career, you're talking about a job in internal audit, being in process with CIA demonstrates your commitment to being an internal auditor. It demonstrates your commitment to doing it well. It demonstrates your commitment that this is not something I'm looking at for just the next 3 months. I like this. I want to do this. I want to be good at it. And I'm going to make the investment so that I can bring that skill set, bring that value to the organization. And you're going to get that job. Now, if you're already working in internal audit and you're not yet certified, this is what helps you take the next step in your organization. This is what helps you go to that next level within the internal audit function within your company. Or potentially, this is what helps you get to a company that's going to be more invested in your career. It's your passport. It's your demonstration that you understand and you know the skills and the competencies that are required for an internal auditor. Now, the good news for you is this. The CIA exams are not easy, but we don't want them to be easy. If a professional certification exam is easy, it doesn't add any value. It's not easy, but it is absolutely and certainly something that you can pass. You just need to make a commitment to doing that. It's an investment. You have to accept, you have to take on board, you have to make it your mindset that this is something that you must do. You need to be dedicated, you need to be committed, but you can do CIA in 12 months. It's 3 exams. You can do it in 12 months if you want to. And as I said at the beginning, you have the opportunity to make an investment of 12 months and some money, but 12 months of your time to pass these 3 exams. And after that 12 months, you're going to benefit for the rest of your career. You're going to benefit with more promotions. You're going to benefit with better job opportunities. And you're going to benefit from a higher salary through better job opportunities, promotions. You're going to do your job better and you're going to have a higher salary. Now, I'll end with this and then I'll always be around for questions, but I said you need to be committed and you need to be dedicated to becoming a CIA. And I say this anytime I teach a group on the first day in class, I can say, there's one question that if you can answer this one question correctly, you will pass the exam. If you can't answer this one question correctly, you won't pass the exam. It's very simple. The very first day of class, you can make this assessment of all of the students. And the one question you have to be able to answer is this. It's, why are you here? Why are you studying CIA? And if you have the answer to that question, you'll pass. And oftentimes the answer to that question is money. I want more money. I want to make more money in my career. And that's absolutely fine. Money is the reason we go to work in the morning. Everybody says they love their job, and that's wonderful if you love your job. But if they stopped paying you, I think you would stop going. So if you know why you want to do CIA, if you want a promotion, if you want to be able to work in a different company, if you want to be able to get into internal auditing, if you want more money, as long as you know why you are studying it, you'll be able to make that commitment. You'll be able to study every night. You'll be able to study on the weekends. You'll be able to study when your friends aren't studying. But you're in a position where you can make a 12-month investment, an 18-month investment, and get the benefit for the rest of your career. So if you are in internal auditing or you want to go into internal auditing, certified internal auditor is the certification you really need to do. It's going to be what differentiates you from all of the other internal audit candidates out there. It's going to give you the skills and the knowledge you need to be successful. And it's going to enable you to benefit from this investment the rest of your career. That's kind of what I wanted to say now. So I'll give it back to Vinod, and I'll be here. I'm going to turn myself off, but I'll be here to answer any questions when we get to that part of the session. Thank you very much, everyone.
Thanks, Brian. That was, so Brian's agenda was to give an overview about the importance of CAA. So we come to the next part of our agenda, wherein I will be giving a end-to-end clarity about CAA program. A slide maybe run through probably 20 to 30 minutes time, wherein the overall aspects, how you need to cover CAA will be covered in that presentation. Post that, we will, me and Brian will try to help you with any questions you have. So with that, I share my screen. All right, so this is what around 13 slides we need to cover. Certified internal auditor by Institute of Internal Auditor. So Institute of Internal Auditor is a professional body which promotes internal auditing program. See, like every professional program will have a professional body. So IAA is a professional body which promotes this program. IAA was established in 1941, which indicates its credibility. You know, it's almost 80-year-old organization, and ever growing, more than 150,000 members across the globe. Every year the number of members increasing, and the certification they started in 1974. The particular what we are seeing today is certified internal auditor exam started almost 50 years back. And about MyLogic, I'll come later. So we are a 15-year-old organization. I'll come to that later. Now, coming to the program, this slide indicates what is the highlights of CAA. Anybody interested to go into internal auditing, how CAA can help you out is highlighted in this, this slide. So the duration, as Brian mentioned, normally one year is what you on an average required to complete the program. MyLogic has a structure of academics which we start with the new batch from July 1st week, with which the model is such that every 3 months you will be able to take one exam, one by one part. Altogether there are 3 papers. I'll come to that. So with which you will be able to complete exactly in 9 months. Okay, that is the advantage you have. As Brian mentioned, this is a global recognition. Any part of the world you go, CAA is being recognized. So that way, any people aspiring to go abroad also, this is one qualification. Highly in demand. You need internal auditors for any established company. That is where CAA plays a pivotal role. Now, coming to exams, there are just 3 papers. 3 exams you clear, you are qualified internal auditor. So I'll come to the papers in more details, but 3 papers all are online exams. Exams are online. And the most interesting part is 100% objective type questions. So when you have objective type questions, the advantage is that if you study well, you will pass the exam because there is no examiner perception coming into picture. You study well, you will clear. That is how the advantage of it. Globally, there is a decent passing rate of 60% across the globe. That is another highlighting factor. You can take the exam any point of time. Round the clock, round the window, you will have one second. Kindly, okay. So you will be able to take the exam round the clock, so you can round the year, you can take exams any point of time. That is one advantage. No negative marks. And as I mentioned, it has a global recognition. Now, a little more details into how you need to become a CAA, steps-by-step direction. See, there are different countries have individual chapters attached to it. So in India, there is a local body, a chapter, which provides IAA membership. So we will help you to connect with the chapter. So first, you need to register with chapter. Advantage of registering with chapter is that you will be able to kind of get some financial, much discounted prices you will be getting. So that is one advantage. Then once you register, start with the CAA exam preparation. As I said, July we are starting with a new batch. Every 3 months you will be writing one paper. So 9 months you will be able to complete. So schedule the exams as a process. We will guide you as to how to schedule. There is something called certification candidate management system. This is with respect to your evaluation credentials. Everything will be evaluated there. Then once you're done with that, take the exam and clear 3 papers. So there is, as I said, 3 papers you have to clear. And then there is something called experience criteria. I will come more into what is the experience requirements. I'll be specifying on that part. But once you complete that also, you are become a certified internal auditor professional. So this is the simple steps I would say you need to pursue to become CAA. Now, the eligibility criteria I was mentioning. So there is something attached with something called experience, so you need to have specific years of experience is very important. If you are a postgraduate, you have master's degree, then you need to have 1 year of audit experience, which you need to achieve over a period of 4 years. After you register for CAA exam, you have time of 4 years to get that 1 year experience. So that is good enough time. Audit and compliance and related areas, there is an experience criteria mentioned. You need to achieve that. If you have a bachelor's degree, then you need to achieve, along with qualification, you need to achieve 2 years of audit experience also. Like that, there are different categories. I could say you need to achieve that experience criteria in a span of 4 years. 3+1 they call. So 4 years, you need to qualify exam, vis-a-vis achieve this experience criteria also. So we'll be guiding you as to which areas you need to achieve all these things in due course. We'll be guiding you as well. Now coming to the syllabus part. So if you look at, as I mentioned, there are 3 parts. Part 1, part 2, part 3. So it's just 3 exams. There is no group system. You clear 3 papers, 3 exams, you are CAA. That is how it is being designed. Now, when it comes to part 1, it covers about essentials of internal auditing. So the topics, basics, I would say, internal audit part is covered there. Then second part, it says about practice of internal auditing. I would say a little advanced. And the third one is business knowledge of internal auditing. So this is how the schedule, I would say, or the structure of the syllabus. There is no criteria that, okay, you should clear part 1, then part 2 or part 3. You can take any papers in any mode, that is possible. Suppose if somebody wants to start with part 2, that is possible, or part 3, that is possible. There is no restriction on that. Also, coming to exam part 1 have 125 multiple choice question, as I said, objective type. Exams are online. It takes 2.5 hours of exam, online exams. View Pearson is the exam body who convenes it. So you take the exam to that. We'll be guiding on that. Scale is you need to, they call it as you need to achieve a scale of 600 out of 750 is what you need to qualify. To qualify, you need to achieve. Same with exam part 2 also, same lines, 100 MCQ. The difference is that it is 100 MCQs instead of 125. Exam is 2 hours and scale is 600 out of 750, same way. Same applies to part 3 also, wherein 100 MCQs. 2 hours, scale of 600. That is how the exam structure. So you get an idea about 3 papers and the exam pattern and exam structure based on this. Okay. Now comes to the exam cost. You know, this is an important slide wherein what will be the CAA certification cost. So this is where I said, you know, if you become a member of IAA, you get some beneficial rates. Even non-members can also take. So the right hand the right hand side column indicates the non-member fees, and left hand side is IAA member fees. And if your IAA India member fees, that is separate. We'll be guiding you on that, so you don't have to worry about it. How to register with IAA and how to take exams. Everything it's our headache. We will be taking care of it. So View Pearson is exams being convened through View Pearson, and exams, as I said, you can take any point of time. That is one very unique advantage of CAA exam, unlike many other exams, you know, wherein some exams have different criteria wherein they specify that only specific windows. In case of CAA, that is not the case. Okay. Now there is something called IAA Challenge Exam. So this was initially started with ACCA program, wherein ACCA affiliates have something with one exam they will be able to become CAA members. Now it is being extended to various other programs as well. You could see programs like Chartered Accountants of Australia and New Zealand, Institute of Chartered Accountants of Scotland. It is more of a, I would say, chartered accounting or financial accounting programs are tied up with them. So that is why you would see Institute of Chartered Accountants in England and Wales, you know, another chartered accountant body. Institute of Chartered Accountants of India is also part of it now. So that way, you know, you will be getting chartered accountants also will be getting that advantage with respect to this exemption part. Okay, that IAA Challenge Exam. Okay. Now, the IAA Challenge Exam, because there are a lot of questions used to come about IAA Challenge Exam. So there's something called the blend of topic. Whatever you study on part 1, part 2, part 3, a blend of it, it's made. 35% of essentials, 43% of practice, and 22% of business knowledge is covered. Exam is 150 MCQ questions, 3-hour exam, and grade is same. Scale is 600 out of 750. So with single paper, you will be able to clear CAA Challenge Exam. So it's a blend, we can say, you know, a combination of 3 papers. Now, challenge exam process, I'm not going detail into it, but you know, anybody requiring challenge exam, we will be able to help you with that. Again, you being an India member will have some preferential rates also available. So there are testing windows also available. We will be guiding you on that completely. Okay, this is more of a you know, exemption rule. So that's why I'm not going much into it. Now, job profiles after CAA. See, as I mentioned, any organization, you know, these days it's more of, I would say, age of professional qualifications. So I've been interacting with a lot of companies where they look out for professionals. You know, when it comes to managerial level and higher levels, companies prefer to have professionals on board. And when it comes to auditing, whether it is in top 4 audit firms, whether to, you know, BPO segments, whether it into compliances, anything relating to internal audit specific coming up, or banking segment for that matter, you know, everywhere I could notice that they started recognizing professionals. So when it comes to internal auditing, they look out for you know, CAAs, you know, qualified CAAs. So these are few of the companies recruit CAAs in large scale. So I mean, just included that slide just for your reference. Now this is what MyLogic. I'm having said all about the CAA. Now I'm just giving some highlights about I would say about MyLogic model. So as I mentioned, we are a 15-year-old organization providing various finance professional programs under one umbrella. I will explain about how our model functions also. But at a high level, when it comes to CAA, it will be like the classes will be Monday to Friday, and for the interest of professionals, you know, there are a lot of professionals also joining, and also students community. We kept the time at 9:30 p.m. to 11:30 p.m. You know, so that will be the time, Indian time, 9:30 p.m. to 11:30 p.m. We have students from different parts of the world, so to match the time of Middle East, Europe time, you know, we kept this time. And it will be like out of 9:30 to 11:30, you will have 1.5 hours classes, some cases 2 hours, Monday to Friday classes. And as I mentioned, it goes in a very systematic way. July first week, we start with it. July, August, and during it takes around 80 to 85 hours for one part. And once that is over, then we give a break. So August, September mid up to it will go. September end, you will be taking the exam for part one. Again, we resume October first week. It goes October, November up to December mid. December end, you will be taking the next part. Then again, Jan, Feb up to March mid. March and you will be taking the exam. So effectively every 3 months you will be covering the classes and then taking the exam with some revisions. So along with the classes, we every Sundays you will have an exam. So whatever Monday to Friday classes, you will have Sunday an exam available, and which helps you to keep in momentum. And within that topic, every topic, whenever there is a class gets over, we will be giving mock exams, simulated exams, like that. Various add-ons will be there. So which helps the student to ensure that the momentum is maintained, and every 2.5 months they focus and clear off on paper, like that it goes. We are one of the premium partners of various professional bodies like IMA. We are platinum partners, and we are connected with various bodies like Wiley, Hawk International, Wiley for CPA, Hawk International for CAA, CMA. Like that, various international professional bodies we are associated with it. EXP group for ACCA, analyst group for CFA program. So with our experience over the time, we consistently maintain a passing rate of around 60 to 70%. That is also another, I would say, we are able to maintain. So with this momentum, if you follow that, and if you're able to consistently attend the classes and proceed with it, I'm sure at least 90% chance that you will qualify, because the system itself will take care of it. And I would like to show our platform as well quickly to you. Give me a second. I'll share the screen again. I hope you can see the screen. So this is what our platform, the website. So the moment you enroll, as I said, there are various programs we provide. We are an tech company with providing various finance professional programs under one umbrella. And the moment you enroll, you will be getting a dashboard. You will be logging into this dashboard. And once you log into this dashboard, then you will have an option called videos. So at this moment, for CMA, CPA, videos are available here. So you'll be able to watch high quality animated videos. I'll show a demo quickly. You can.
Taxation of property. When do we pay tax? When we earn something. When will we pay tax on property? When we sell it or dispose it of, for whatever reasons. If we are letting go of the property, whether we are selling it or disposing it of, or it is taken over forcefully by the government, or we have lost it to a natural calamity.
So we do not have animated videos for CAA now, but in due course. So by the time your class is over, we will be coming up with part one videos. So it concurrently happens. The advantage of this platform is that you will have your videos also coming up here. You will be able to download or view the materials. You will have option to call the tutor, WhatsApp the tutor, email the tutor. You'll be able to take the exam here. The exams here, you will be able to take the comprehensive exam, how you take the final exam. So just to show you a demo, this will be coming up for CAA also. Before you take the final exam, you will be able to, just to give a demo. So this is how the final exam of CAA happens. So by the time you are ready to take exam, this will be ready, wherein you will have whatever the number of multiple choice questions, you will be able to practice one after on exam. The results also will be announced concurrently. So that kind of advantage you will be getting. So in effect, I could say the preparation model, the approach what we do such that you will be able to get a lot of value addition through it. Even the classes, how the classes links also, it is not separately shared. you will have this dashboard, and once you come to the dashboard, there is something called My Live classes. So wherein you will come here, you will have the everyday's basis classes links will be available here. So your, let's say first week your CAA class starts, your on particular day your class link will be available here. You click on this link, you will be directed to the class at 9:30 p.m. The next day you will get the recordings, whatever class recordings also you will be getting here. So the advantage is that until you qualify, you will be able to refer back to your recordings, take support, and any doubts coming across, that's where I said you will be able to connect with our coordinator immediately. So that way that model works wonderfully well. So what I'm trying to say is that, through MyLogic, you will have somebody to walk with you, till you qualify. And with 15 years, we have helped thousands of professionals to become professionals. We are connected with excellent brands of, corporates from various industries. So I would say, we will be able to help you to get into the next level. So it's not just about classes. We helps on, I would say, the next level of not only placement. I will not call it as placement alone. Once you qualify the exam, we have connected with so many companies. We will be able to send your CVs to those companies. You become part of a prestigious alumni group, which with over 15 years, huge number of students. I could say many of the leading corporates, Bangalore, we have our representatives. So what happens is any opportunity coming up, we will be able to inform our existing students. So it works in a, it works like a beautiful network. And as a result, it is a lifelong journey, so long as you are continuing a professional journey, we will be in connect, we'll be helping each other. And, you also, once you qualify and you get into next level, you also help us back by, helping the new students to support to get jobs and stuff like that. So that is why we call it, ourselves as helping in transforming careers, so we continuously aim and focus on how to transform the career. It is not just about finishing off an exam and bye-bye. We helps to maintain that connect. I do have still contact with my 15-year-old student, 15 years back when I used to teach, still in connect with them. Chaitanya, for 10-year-old back, he was part of MyLogic. He was part of corporate. He was our academic coordinator. He was in very senior level in companies like Aon. He takes up the complete responsibilities of MyLogic journey. Now he is a academic and strategy director. So we have a very beautiful network, and I would say, with this platform, we are able to support students from various parts of the world. So I hope I could give an overview about CAA program in general and MyLogic, and how MyLogic can help you to transform your career. So what we'll do is now we'll open the session for question and answer sessions if you have anything. And then specific questions we'll be happy to address. Brian is also here. So Brian's experience, again, Brian is a CAA qualified and huge experience in teaching and mentoring students. So this is a golden platform. Please feel free to ask questions, and we are here to support you. Over to you guys. Any questions? No questions. Somebody has to start.
Okay, Vinod, Anand here.
Yes, sir.
Thank you for the, hi Vinod. Thank you for the wonderful session, and thank you, Brian, Mr. Brian, for the introductory part. The question what I have is, what is the typical mindset of the examiner? Is it to pass the candidate, or is it to fail the candidate?
Good question. So Brian, first I leave the question first to Brian, then I will answer.
Well, the mindset is to determine whether or not the candidate understands the material. It's not a question of, did they memorize all the past exam questions that have been released? I just got this question from somebody today, and it comes up all the time. Will the questions on the exam be the same as the ones I've practiced? No, absolutely not. They shouldn't be. The examiner is trying to determine if you actually understand the concept and are able to apply those concepts to a situation that you've never seen before. And just kind of a simple example, if we look at internal controls in a company, there are internal controls about everything that the company does, every process the company has, every department, everything the company does, there's internal controls. So we cannot think of every possible situation that they can make a question about. We can't think of every possible combination of duties that need to be segregated. And so you need to understand what the segregation of duties is, why it happens, what the duties are that are to be segregated, and how to determine. But the question on the exam is going to be different than the question that you practice. It's going to be a different department. It's going to be a slightly different situation. It's going to be slightly different tasks that they set up in the question that need to be, segregated. So the goal of the examiner is to determine whether or not you actually understand the material, not that you just memorized the 2,000 practice questions that have been released. And so whether their goal is to pass you or fail you depends on how well you understand the material. If you understand the material, their goal is to pass you. If you don't understand the material, their goal, it's not their goal, your result is that you fail.
Anand sir, I add on to Brian's one point here. So here,
Understood.
here one point I want to add on. See, if you look at, unlike Indian professional exams, so for example, cost accountancy or chartered accountancy exams, the one feature is that when you have descriptive questions coming up, the examiner perception is also a detrimental factor. So my mood of evaluating the exam also can kind of influence my results, the examiner's perception, I would call it. But in this case, considering that it is 100% objective type, so, the examiner do not have any specific roles on, determining your results, technically. So if we study well from a concept point of view and we approach that, then it is within our hand. That's what I say, the advantage of US exam, predominantly whether it is CAA, whether it is CMA, whether it is CPA, all these exams have a lot of objective type questions. So it's examiner is clueless. He cannot kind of influence our results to a larger extent. Particularly in CAA case, it is within us actually. I hope that.
Thank you, Vinod. Thanks, Brian.
So we have another question, Brian. So this is India specific, but I'm sure you can throw your insights, Brian. So we heard, its question is from Matthew. So we heard many scams related to financial frauds in India. Of course, Matthew, it's across the globe, it happens these days. What role a CAA can play to avoid this? Brian, I think you are the best person to answer.
It's unrealistic to say that the internal auditor would have detected whatever fraud it is or whatever irregularity. But I think one of the things that an internal auditor and the individual internal auditor and the internal audit function as a whole, they have a large role to play in creating the environment, the corporate culture connected to financial reporting. Let's say the honesty of financial reporting, the transparency of financial reporting. And so one way of looking at it is the internal auditors are one of the bodies that take what the board wants to have happen, that corporate culture that the board is establishing. And the internal auditors are part of the groups that project that and take that out to the rest of the organization. And so by being that honest broker, that honest messenger from the board of directors, making certain that systems are working. I mean, segregation of duties is part of what prevents those financial frauds from happening. And so making certain that the systems are working like they're supposed to, making certain that people understand that if they start doing things they're not supposed to, somebody's going to find out about it. It's that corporate culture, it's that attitude, that this kind of way that the company operates that makes it so that the people that are wanting to commit that financial fraud recognize that this isn't the company to do it in. Just that corporate environment, that corporate culture is a large part of what the internal auditors are able to do for a company.
Matthew, I want to quote one importance of internal auditing in one example probably. So I was in the initial stages of my career, I was part of one of the Government of India undertaking. It was a public sector company. So there was a major scam happened. So it's a public news, so I can reveal it. So what happened is that there was a banking transaction. Those days it was particularly used to happen through e-transfers, the initial stages of e-transfer was happening, and, you have this floppy disk taking the data to bank, and, that kind of system was existing. I'm saying about probably 10 years back, the NEFT and everything before that stage. So one smart guy was very, very competent on IT, used it in the wrong side. He tried to manipulate with some, the manager's signature and the gap between different lines. He tried to manipulate and made a, around those days, around 4-5 crores scam. Okay. Now, with such a huge company, I mean, it's a $1 billion company, and it was very difficult to trace out this scam in normal case, but only because they have a proper internal audit system in place. Every time, the checks and balances, verification, bank reconciliation, cross-checking of those aspects in a minute level, this fraud was, detected. Like this, I could, in fact, write a story about various organizations where I have experienced about, the impact of internal auditors on their roles. But to summarize, whatever in the day-to-day operations, what happens is that, people miss out inadvertently or consciously. But when you have an internal audit system, it helps to have proper internal controls in place, which helps in detection of errors, as well as any kind of scams or frauds could be detected. So I hope that answers, Matthew. So larger extent, that itself will create a threat to the fraudulent people, or to help the system to improve. The next question, Ryan Shaji Samuel have a question. What is the entry level for this course? What is there for a class 10 students? So I'll answer that. So as I mentioned in earlier, any student can do it, so even class 10 students can also start with it. Probably after class 10, it is slightly too early, I would suggest. Its ideal time is doing along with graduation. After +2, you can do along with graduation. Or, I mean, many students these days, along with graduation, pursue it. So class 10, there are different other qualifications. So Rupa will be sharing Rupa's number in this platform, wherein we will be guiding you as to which are the courses you may think of doing after class 10. So that can be separately guided, right? I hope that answers. Benjamin have a question here on what type of companies hiring. So I think, Benjamin, I explained earlier, whether it is in a top 4 audit companies, so whether we call it as EY, KPMG, PwC, Deloitte, these companies, whether it into BPO segment, KPO, different corporates, there is internal audit requirements, companies like Capgemini, Accenture, HP, IBM, they have internal audit requirements coming up. Then there are banking segment, whether it is Northern Trust. We were discussing with one of the corporates, banking corporates, with some courses like corporate tie-up. So there are various banks, private segment banks, requests for CAA product. So I could say wherever there is audit requirements, this have opportunity, Benjamin. Particularly in a city, I assume you are from India. So if you look at in India, all major metro cities, particularly in Bangalore, have huge opportunities. Okay. Ren have one more question. What is the course structure and expense involved? So I have shared a slide earlier with respect to, there are 3 aspects to the slides. So one is with respect to whether you are a non-member, whether you are a member, whether you are an India member. There are 3 categories, right? So even MyLogic have 2 parts to the fees. One is our training fees and material fees. So we will take down your number, and our educational counselors will contact. Our business head, Rupa, online head, will be in touch with you, who will be giving you complete insights about our training fees as well. Right. Hope that fine. Then we have the next question, Mohammed Tajuddin. Okay, Taj have a question. Yeah, okay. No. Next one, Tony have a question. After the completing 3 exams, will there be any internship provided by MyLogic for a good practical knowledge? So Tony, to answer that, after 3 exams completed, rather than we put you in internship, we will help you to get into corporates. See, many of the companies, as I said, they are looking for freshers also. There are freshers, young blood is required on internal auditing segment to groom them, over the time. So I don't think you don't really need to go into internship. We'll help you on the placements itself, Tony. I hope that point is good. In fact, As we discussed, I have requirement of 5 to 10 people into related areas, internal audit and different parts of auditing is required. Freshers, I'm saying about just qualified candidates. You will be a perfect fit to those roles once you qualify, Tony. Mohammed Tajuddin have a question. What are the eligibility criteria for certification in Southeast Malaysia? So Taj, I understand you are from Malaysia. So there is definitely the graduation is good enough, or along with graduation you will be able to do it. We can help you with specifics of the question more in detail offline. We have to look at that country specific, and any specific criteria we can help you out on that, Taj. So Rupa's number is shared on the screen. You can always use that. Benjamin have a question. Best country for CAA? Yes, across the globe, wherever there is internal audit opportunities, the first preference is for CAA. Middle East have huge opportunities. And I could say that in India also, CAA opportunities day by day increasing. That is why there are different chapters. You have a Bangalore chapter, All India chapter. There are various chapters also being established from that perspective. So there are huge amount of opportunities any part of the world. I could put it across that way.
Sir, what is the scope in Middle East for CPA and CMA, especially in Dubai?
Okay, so Mirsaji, your question is what is the scope for CPA, CMA, and CAA?
Marketing.
Yeah. Okay, so see the way I look at, we started 15 years back. This is some example I could quote it. 15 years back, when I started promoting various programs, I was in rural parts of Kerala. I was promoting this program. So in India, those days it was not being recognized. So any of these courses were not recognized. So immediately I used to quote Middle East, as an example. Okay, Middle East do have. I'm saying about 15 years back, Mirsaji. Okay, why I quote Middle East is Middle East have huge dominance of various multinational corporates. You will find a lot of multinational corporates in Middle East. That is why you have opportunities. So when you have multinational companies, particularly US-based companies, instead of they look out for their own professional, they look out for they look out for I would say in India, instead of Indian professionals, the companies started looking, okay, whether I will have a CPA, whether I can get a CMA, CAA, which is a US qualification. Same thing happened in Middle East. That is why, because of any US companies, any Europe companies you go, you will have opportunities. That is why a qualification like CPA, CMA, or CAA have huge potential in Middle East, across Middle East, Mirsaji. I hope I answered that.
Okay, sir. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Okay, Pratik have a question specific with respect to the exam with respect to FRM CFA. So I think, Pratik, this is more into FRM CFA. We can connect offline and help you out. You can be in touch with Sindhu or Rupa. We will help you out to answer that specific, Pratik. I hope that is fine.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Any other questions? Anybody? Any other questions? Great. I think we are more or less on time. So I think we could. So if you look at the overall summary, we try to explain about what is CAA and its importance. Then a detailed explanation of CAA, followed by whatever questions we try to answer that. To nutshell, we can say that if you are intending to have your career in internal auditing field, certified internal auditor is one qualification which can really help you to elevate yourself into the next level, and can help you out to build a great career. So I could suggest you could seriously think about CAA as a qualification to pursue. And the other, MyLogic is there to help you out. Rupa is our academic, business head for online wing. Rupa coordinates CAA program. Rupa, you can kindly share your number on chat box, so you can be in touch with Rupa. So MyLogic, in association with Hawk International, we use Hawk International study materials for CAA, which is world's one of the best study materials for CMA and CAA programs. We have partnered with Hawk International US. My association with Brian spans across more than 15 years. So we have been helping each other to grow each other. So, so I think together we can help you to become professionals. So before we conclude, Benjamin have a question. Sony Corporation, specifically Benjamin, I need to check it out whether Sony Corporation hires, but I could say that wherever if there is an internal auditing opportunities there, definitely any organization, so definitely Sony also likely to recruit CAAs, Benjamin. Specific, I am not aware about it, but I can check and confirm, Benjamin. Now, Tony also have a question. So to complete the entire CAA, I would say, I have given the different fee structure part. Rupa will, after this call, will reach out to you. Specifics about MyLogic fees also will be able to come in. Very affordable fees, and you will be able to manage. We have a loan facility also available in case 0% interest loan is available. So we will help you to whatever flexibility you require in pandemic time. So our complete team is there. So Rupa's number is there on the chat box. So once again, I thank Brian for being part of it. And thanks to our Hyderabad team, Vasu, Edu Masters, our partners, Edu Masters team, Matthew is there on the call. Thank you, Matthew, and the entire team of Matthew. And then we have, different professors, faculties, students across different parts of India have joined for this program. I hope we could throw some insights about CAA program. This is a wonderful qualification, and we are here to support you to qualify. Thank you once again, everyone, for joining for this. All the very best. Good evening. Thank you.
Bye, everyone.
Thanks, Greg.